Brunson drives, pulls up jumper, tie game. Brunson driving, layup, shot is good. Leans in, pass inside, and a travel.
Cannot say enough about the job defensively to Karl Anthony Towns on Victor Wembanyama.
I was bad tonight. It's not more complicated than that.
Brunson, corner three is up, bang! And the Knicks take a 2-point lead.
I trust my work, trust everything I do. I stay confident in those moments.
12 consecutive wins for the Knicks as they take game one of the NBA Finals.
What a game it was. That is the front page of the New York Post this morning as the Knicks take game one of the NBA Finals. While Brunson led the way down the stretch, NBA legend Charles Barkley thinks someone else on the Knicks was the biggest key in their win. Here's Barkley.
The key to the game was Karl Anthony Towns. He was spectacular. I mean, Brunson's going to get a lot of luck. He scored the most points. But if you actually watch that game, the biggest difference in that game was Karl Anthony Towns, him getting Wemby away from the basket, him posting up. If they're going to win this series, he's going to have to be the best player on the court for the Knicks. And he was the best player on the court for the Knicks tonight.
So now our question is, who was the MVP of game one? As we say hello to Brian Windhorse. Hey, Wendy. Who do you think was the whatever it is? We've all been up for a while. Who was your MVP last night?
Charles is 100% right. You know, if you'd have told me yesterday at this time that the Mike Brown strategy was going to be to put Karl Anthony Towns as the primary and singular defender on Victor Wembanyama, I would have said, what is he doing? Because not only is that a tough cover, naturally, it's a tough cover for anybody, Karl gets in foul trouble. And they can't afford Karl in foul trouble with uncertainty with Mitchell Robinson. And not only did Karl avoid the fouls, and they let the referees let the game be played, and that favored the Spurs too, it wasn't just Towns. Karl was able to keep his own man in front of him. Victor couldn't get around him. And because Victor couldn't get around him, two things happened. One, the Knicks didn't have to rotate. They didn't have to bring help defense. How you give up three-pointers in the NBA is you get stuck in rotation. Swing, swing, swing. Next thing you know, some Spurs got an open three. The second thing is the Knicks were able to strip and swipe, trying to take the ball off Victor. 6 turnovers, a bunch of them from them just taking it from him because they didn't have to worry about Karl staying in front of him. 2 of 14, Victor Wembanyama shooting when Karl Towns the primary defender. If that lasts, not only will the Knicks win the series, Karl Towns could be the MVP of the finals. Now, I don't expect it to last because I expect Victor to make some changes starting tomorrow night. But that performance from Karl Towns was difference-making last night.
He was the MVP. I agree with Wendy and Charles that he was the MVP of last night. That doesn't mean he was the best player last night. The best player was still Jalen Brunson because he closed the game in great fashion. You could be the MVP without being the best player. But let me just take y'all behind the scenes on what I saw from my eyes from a player standpoint. You're right. He had 6 turnovers because I keep preaching about boxes and elbows. And what the Knicks did was they took away driving gaps. And Karl Anthony Towns, you know what that's called? Between him and Mike Brown, because you were surprised that he started on Wemby, it's called championship synergy. It's trust in that locker room, and it's togetherness in that locker room. And the fact that Mike Brown and the coaching staff came out and they trusted that Karl Anthony Towns, his defensive assignment was going to be Wemby. Straight up. We're not sending any help. You got him. We trust you because you have been showing us throughout the playoffs that we could trust you to be our defensive anchor. And he accepted the challenge. He wanted the challenge.
Yep.
And, I mean, Wemby couldn't run up the floor without the ball, without Towns touching him up. And I got to show some love to Big Mitchell Robinson because although he played 13 minutes, it was impactful. He came in and did some huge things, got some rebounds, altered some shots, bodied Wemby a little bit more, gave Karl Anthony Towns a break. And listen, Karl Anthony Towns has been, and he's going to continue to be, the most important player on the Knicks team for their success to try to go win their NBA championship.
You going to agree with them, or you got some?
No, it's a trifecta. There's no question it was Karl Anthony Towns because he did it on both ends. You know what? It wasn't just first of all, his defense on Wemby speaks for itself. That was phenomenal. But secondly, it was taking advantage anytime somebody other than Wemby wasn't on him.
Talk about it.
It was like, wait a minute now.
Talk about it.
You're a little dude, and let me treat you like the little dude that you are. We've talked about that with Karl Anthony Towns on too many occasions when there was a hesitancy or reluctance or whatever appropriate word there is to use to highlight the fact that he wasn't taking advantage of cats that were smaller than him. Like, you will look at him and he's out on the perimeter and there's somebody that's guarding him, and he'd pass the ball and then go closer to the paint. Give me the ball back. You understand what I'm saying? Give me the ball back. Let me show you. You move out the damn way. You're a little man. You don't belong down here with me. And why is that so important? Because it's going to put Coach Mitch Johnson with a dilemma. Are you going to leave Wemby with four small dudes out there, or are you going to go a little bit bigger to give Wemby some help so he can be further unleashed? You know, that means Cornette coming into the lineup with a guy like Wemby, all right? That means Harrison Barnes, who isn't the biggest dude in the world, but you want to go that route in terms of stop relying on smaller dudes to just surround Wemby. So that's another thing. Also, we got to take this into consideration. Even though I want to give all of that love to Karl Anthony Towns, it's little stuff. Like we talked about Landry Shamet. 11 of 12 in the Eastern Conference Finals from three-point range. It wasn't the case last night. Still shot 50% from three. Still shot better than 50% from the field. How about Jose Alvarado coming in? How many minutes did he play? He only played like 10 minutes. 10, almost 11 minutes. 10 minutes and 57 seconds. 3 of 6 from the field.
11 minutes.
Right? 1 of 3 from three-point range. Listen, we didn't expect that contribution from him, but we got it. And so you see the kind of effect that Karl Anthony Towns defending and keeping you in play has on the New York Knicks. Like he was saying when he was talking in the huddle, he said, just defend them, just play defense, just lock them down the way they're trying to lock us down. Your offense will come. And we saw from the New York Knicks in the Cleveland series and the Philly series, you know what, game one, you might be a little rusty. And then after that, they don't look rusty. Okay, so while we're sitting here talking about Wemby and what's he going to do to the New York Knicks, well, what you think we expected from the New York Knicks?
Right.
The New York Knicks could very well come out in game two like sharks in blood-infested water, sensing something that they can take advantage of and exploit. Who's going to show up? Is it going to be the Spurs or is it going to be the New York Knicks? Because I got news for you. If you're San Antonio, you remember how they'll sit up there and they'll win, they'll lose a game, and then they'll come back and they'll stomp you into the ground the way that they did Minnesota. What if the game is tight in game two? What if San Antonio is facing the precipice of an 0-2 deficit because it's in the fourth quarter and it's tight, So the point is, if you really, really want to insulate yourself, I told you to be quiet when I'm talking. Here's the deal. If you really want to sit up there, and watch, think about what it's going to be if it gets tight. We're going to find out San Antonio is going to be in foreign waters in that regard. How will they respond? It's a question.
Well,
Go ahead. It's okay. One person that I feel like we should maybe bring up here is Josh Hart. I know he only had 3 points. Forget the stat line here. The way he attacked Wemby, the way he attacked rebounding last night, maybe an honorable mention. I don't know about MVP, but he definitely made an instant and early impact in this game.
No, you're right. But that's what you call losing yourself in the team. That's what you call playing agenda-free basketball. And Stephen A., you brought up a great point about Karl Anthony Towns taking advantage of those smaller guys. Part of it is on him, but the other part is now we're seeing them highlight that, right? We're seeing Mike Brown, Jalen Brunson, and the guard saying, oh, you got a smaller guard? We're going to go to you on the low block. And then they're holding him responsible and trusting that when Wemby comes on that 2-9 or comes to trap, he's making the extra pass. The only thing I would disagree with you on is that if I'm Mitch Johnson, I would not start or even think about starting Cornette and Wemby together. Here's why. If you start those two guys together, you let Wemby off the hook. And when I say off the hook, is that you put him in the mindset that he could start the game off showing his guard skills. When you keep him at the center position, then all of a sudden you make him go play in that paint. You make him go be that defensive anchor that we know he could be and that defensive player of the year.
Man, they torched Cornette last night. I agree. I would just point something out. People said coming into this series that the Spurs were going to give a defensive intensity that the Knicks weren't used to. And there's truth to that. And they struggled a little bit offensively. Josh Hart gives loose ball intensity that the Spurs are used to. You have to be ready for that bowling ball to come down the lane whenever there's a loose ball there, and they're going to learn from having to deal with that.
All right. Obviously, we're going to continue this finals talk. We got game 2 from here, San Antonio, on Friday when we come back here on First.